Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're kind of setting aside our self-image, the idea that we're all these fiercely independent, rational thinkers, because we are diving deep into what might be the most potent force in human decision-making, social proof.
Right. This is that biological shortcut.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell you what you should believe.
Yeah.
It tells you what everyone else already believes. And that's a huge difference.
It is. So our mission today is to get under the hood of this herd instinct. We're going to look at the programming, see how completely it can override our own logic.
And it does.
And then, show you how to ethically and effectively harness that power in your own life, in your work. So let's ground this. Let's start with a classic scenario. Imagine you're on vacation. You're in a city you don't know. You're starving.
I'm there.
Right. And you see two restaurants side by side. They serve pretty much the same food, same prices. Restaurant A is it's pristine, it's quiet, maybe a little too quiet. Got waiters just kind of standing around.
Waiting.
And then there's restaurant B. It is just chaos. It's loud, it's crowded, plates clattering. There's even a little line out the door. So you're tired, you're hungry. What's your gut reaction? I mean, which door do you open?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because the analytical part of your brain, it might whisper, hey, wait, restaurant A could be a hidden gem.
Right. Maybe B is just a tourist trap.
Exactly. Maybe it's just slow or the food is bad.
Yeah.
But that little voice, it almost always gets drowned out. You walk into restaurant B, you just assume it's safer, the food's better, the whole experience will be superior, and you have literally zero verifiable data for that.
None at all.
And yet, you trust the judgment of a crowd of strangers over your own ability to just, look inside. That's not a preference, that's programming.
And that right there, that immediate bias, that is social proof. It's the current that, pushes a stock into a bubble or validates a political candidate or makes a book a bestseller overnight. We're basically here to figure out how to stop being the sheep and start understanding the shepherd.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Right.
We really do cherish this idea of being autonomous thinkers.
Right.
Driven by facts.
We love that idea.
But the sources we looked at, they paint a much more humbling picture. When you strip it all away, we are fundamentally herd animals.
And we have to remember why. This isn't some modern flaw in our thinking. It's an ancient and actually a highly successful survival strategy.
It saved energy.
It saved energy, it saved lives. For 99% of human history, following the crowd was the safest bet. Think about that classic lion example. You're out with the tribe, and suddenly, every single person drops what they're doing and just sprints for the caves.
You don't stop to do a risk assessment?
You don't stand there and think, I wonder what the objective threat is here. No. If you do that, you're lunch.
Their lunch?
Yeah, you run because they run. The group as a whole had information that you, as an individual, didn't have yet. A sound, a smell, something.
So the crowd had a higher intelligence. In that moment, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was faster and it guaranteed safety.
Yeah.
That's a powerful combination.
Okay, that's a really key point. So the crowd offers superior intelligence and immediate safety. But what about the flaw in that? What happens when the crowd is just, running towards a cliff or forming an economic bubble based on, nothing? Does the instinct still work the same way?
It does, and that's the danger. The instinct doesn't really differentiate between good collective knowledge and bad collective panic. It just registers the action.
The volume of movement.
The volume and the speed.
Yeah.
The real trigger here is uncertainty. The less certain you are about a situation, the more you look to others for clues. You crave that external data.
So if I'm in a new situation and I see 5 choices...
You're going to be drawn to the one with the most activity around it. Because your brain sees that activity, that movement, and it just equates it with safety. The movement itself becomes the proof.
So we get the why. It's this ancient wiring. It's driven by uncertainty. But just how powerful is it? I mean, the evidence suggests it's so strong it can actually override our own physical senses.
Oh, yeah.
Which brings us to this really fascinating study from the 1960s, the famous elevator experiment.
It's so unsettling to watch. The visual is just, it's iconic. So you have a single subject, right? They walk into an elevator, think it's just a normal ride.
But everyone else is an actor.
Everyone else is an actor. And when the doors close, without saying a word, they all just silently turn 180 degrees to face the back wall.
Just staring at the wall.
Staring at the wall. And you can see the subject. They look so confused. They're glancing at the floor numbers, then at the actors, then back at the wall. You can literally see the gears grinding in their head.
That internal struggle.
It's a battle, right? Psychologically, You have two forces. One is their own senses screaming, this is wrong. You face the doors in an elevator.
Informational influence, right?
That's the informational influence. But the other force, the normative influence, is that deep, deep fear of being the odd one out, the pressure to conform.
It wins.
It almost always wins. They feel this tension, this awkwardness, and eventually they just sheepishly turn around and face the back wall too. They deny their own reality just to fit in.
Wow. And that denial, that's the perfect bridge to talking about influence, isn't it? If it can make you stare at a concrete wall.
Imagine what it can do with a buying decision where the right answer is way less obvious.
Which highlights this huge trap that so many smart people fall into. They rely on what the sources call self-proof, and it's so weak.
It is, because it immediately makes people suspicious. When you use self-proof, you're asking someone to trust you blindly. If I look you in the eye and say, I am the world's leading expert on this and I'm the most honest person you'll ever meet, what happens in your head?
Alarms go off. Immediately, I'm thinking, okay, why are you trying so hard? You're probably lying.
Exactly. You want evidence. You want validation from someone else. But if three people you already know and respect tell you, independently, that I'm the expert,
I believe it. Instantly. No questions asked.
the assertion is identical, but the source changes everything. It removes that self-serving bias.
Sure.
Social proof is, well, it's almost invincible.
And we see this used in these kind of cynical ways in entertainment, like the canned laughter effect.
Oh, the laugh track, yeah.
Think about those old sitcoms, Seinfeld, Friends, that fake, annoying laughter that everyone knew is fake.
He was objectively terrible.
Yeah.
But the TV execs, they would not get rid of it. And there was a very clear reason why.
The research.
The research, undeniable. People actually laughed longer and harder and rated the jokes as funnier when the laugh track was on.
Even though they knew it was artificial.
Right. Your conscious brain knows it's fake,
Yeah.
but your ancient brain just hears a crowd laughing and it triggers a reflex. It says, oh, this is the correct emotional response. Join in. It's like auditory social proof.
So if we accept this, if we accept that we are herd animals and our instincts can override our logic, then the next step isn't to fight it.
No, it's to direct it.
Exactly. And this is where so many people go wrong. They try to sell an idea or a product using features. My coaching program has 12 modules and 4 hours of video.
And nobody cares about the modules. They just don't. People don't buy features. They buy safety. They buy assurance. They buy transformation.
So listing features is basically asking them to be the first one down an unknown path.
Precisely. The shift has to be from features to validation. Stop saying, here are my 12 modules, and start saying, join the 500 people who have already transformed their lives using this.
That's the winning crowd. That's the signal for safety.
Right. And the sources break this down into 3 main types of social proof you can use. So there's always a lever you can pull no matter where you're at.
Okay, let's start with type 1. This is the big one.
This is the holy grail, user social proof. So we're talking testimonials, reviews, case studies.
But not just any testimonial.
No, and that's the mistake. Vague stuff like, he's a nice guy, really helpful, it's useless. It's white noise. It's missing the magic ingredient.
Specificity.
Specificity.
Yeah.
You need a documented transformation, a clear before and after story.
Something with numbers.
Yes. Think in terms of impact. If a client can say, I was losing $5,000 a month, and after working with them, I made $20,000 in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't argue with that. It's undeniable.
And then placement is so important. We can't overstate this. Don't hide these amazing stories on a testimonials page no one ever clicks on.
No, you have to put the proof right next to the friction point. The A/D tests are clear. When someone's about to click buy, that transformation story needs to be sitting right there next to the button. That's the nudge.
Okay, so that's type 1. What's type 2?
Type 2 is wisdom of the crowds. This is just flaunting volume. If you have big numbers, you have to use them.
It's the McDonald's sign. Billions served.
Exactly. They don't talk about the nutritional value of a Big Mac. They just point to the giant number.
Right.
And that number itself becomes a guarantee of safety and quality in your mind.
Because billions of people can't be wrong.
That's what your brain tells you.
Okay.
So if you have 20,000 email subscribers, don't hide it. Say it. Join 20,000 subscribers. That number does all the heavy lifting for you. It screams, this is validated. This is not a risk.
Okay, but what if you're just starting out? What if you have 20 subscribers, not 20,000? You can't flaunt billions served.
Right. And that's where type 3 comes in. This is the strategic move for beginners. It's called borrowed social proof.
The halo effect.
Exactly, the halo effect. You borrow authority from people or brands that your audience already trusts.
So how does that work in practice?
The simplest way is association. You get a picture with a known expert in your field. Suddenly, some of their authority. It rubs off on you. You're seen as being in the club.
And digitally, this is about logos, right?
It is. If you get interviewed on a respected podcast or featured in a well-known publication, you take their logo and you put it right on your website.
You're creating a transitive property of trust.
That's it perfectly. The unspoken message is, you trust them, they trusted me, therefore you can trust me.
Yes.
It gives you that crucial external validation when you don't have your own numbers yet.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? The final step here is to just take a hard look at where you're asking people to take a leap of faith. Because the core lesson is so clear. Stop asking for blind trust. Start providing undeniable evidence. So let's make this actionable. The task for this week, I think, should be to go out and gather 3 potent pieces of social proof.
Good. So 1, get that transformative user social proof. A video testimonial, a case study with specific quantifiable before and after results.
2, find your statistic. That's the wisdom of the crowds piece. A definitive number, a volume count, a success rate, something that shows scale.
And 3, borrowed proof. Get that endorsement, that association, that logo from someone respected in your field to create that halo effect.
And don't forget the placement nudge. Once you have this evidence, you have to put it right where the decision is being made. That testimonial goes right next to the buy button.
Because that's what tips the scale. Ultimately, this biological programming, it doesn't change. When we're uncertain, nobody wants to be the first idiot to try the wrong thing.
Everyone wants to be the smart person.
Everyone wants to be the smart person who joined the winning team. Your job isn't to convince them with logic. It's to show them, with evidence from others, that you're already winning.
A really insightful way to look at human behavior. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us today. It's been fascinating.
My pleasure.
Next time, we're going to be tackling the psychological opposite of all this. We're going from abundance and social validation to its reverse.
Scarcity.
Scarcity. We're going to look into why we want what we absolutely cannot have and how you can harness that to drive action. We'll see you then for the next deep dive.